There's a strange kind of silence the world has forgotten. It waits for us each morning, before the screens, before the noise, before the self we perform for everyone else. But most of us never meet it. We wake up, and before we've even taken a breath, our fingers reach for a phone. Our minds chase the next notification. Our hearts race toward what's missing. It's not just habit, it's addiction. Not to substances, but to stimulation. To noise, to motion, to feeling like something's always happening. We've trained our brains to panic in peace, to crave the chaos that drains us. But what if that craving is exactly what's keeping you from yourself? The Stoics knew this thousands of years ago. They warned that the mind, left untrained, becomes its own worst enemy. And in the modern world, that warning feels prophetic. The addiction to distraction has replaced the addiction to power or pleasure. We scroll not because we care, but because we fear stillness. That's why a morning routine for peace isn't luxury. It's survival. It's the antidote to mental chaos, a ritual of reclaiming your mind before the world does. Imagine starting your day not with noise, but with clarity. 10 quiet minutes that remind you who you are before the world tells you who to be. That's the essence of 10-minute Stoic practices. Short, grounded moments that bring you back to center. A true inner peace daily Stoic ritual isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. About noticing how your first choice in the morning sets the tone for every choice after. When you rise, you stand at a crossroads. One path leads to reaction, the other to reflection. This is where morning ritual Stoicism begins, not in grand routines, but in reclaiming one sacred truth. Your first moment belongs to you. So tomorrow, before the scroll, before the rush, before the noise, a pause. Breathe. Let silence greet you. Because when you start your day with a Stoic mindset, you don't just build a peaceful morning, you build a peaceful life. There's a fragile, fleeting moment right after you wake up, before your hand reaches for the phone, before your mind fills with noise. That moment, that single breath of quiet, is the doorway to peace. But most of us slam it shut without realizing it. We scroll, we tap, we consume, all before the sun has even fully risen. It feels harmless, almost automatic. But underneath that tiny act is a deep truth. We've conditioned ourselves to escape stillness. We rush to feed our minds, not because we're hungry for knowledge, but because silence feels too heavy to hold. That's the addiction no one talks about, the addiction to distraction. And the cost? Ourselves. The Stoics would see this clearly. They would say, you can't control the world's noise, but you can control whether you invite it in. That's where a morning routine for peace begins, in that first conscious choice. In that split second where you decide to wait, to breathe, to be. Imagine sitting with that silence instead, just watching your thoughts rise and fall, like waves brushing the shore. This is the beginning of 10-minute Stoic practices. Not about doing more, but about undoing the unnecessary. It's not about chasing calm, but allowing it. The Stoics practiced awareness like breathing. They knew that the mind, when disciplined, becomes unshakable. That's why inner peace daily Stoic habits always start small. A pause, a breath, a reminder that the only control you truly own is over yourself. When you give yourself those first 10 minutes, you're not being lazy or detached. You're being deliberate. You're telling your mind, I lead today. Not my impulses, not my phone, not the noise. This is the heart of morning rituals Stoicism, a daily act of rebellion against distraction. A quiet protest in a world addicted to chaos. So tomorrow morning, notice that moment before the scroll. Hold it, honor it, let it stretch just a little longer. Because when you start your day with a Stoic mindset, that single pause becomes power, the kind that carries through everything that follows. The 10-minute morning routine. You don't need an hour to change your life. You only need 10 minutes. 10 quiet, deliberate minutes. A sacred space between who you were yesterday and who you choose to be today. That's where transformation lives. This morning routine for peace isn't about chasing perfection. It's about returning to yourself before the world demands a version of you that's exhausted, reactive, and scattered. In just 10 minutes, the Stoics would teach you how to master your emotions, center your thoughts, and start the day anchored in purpose. Here's how those 10-minute Stoic practices unfold. Minutes 1 to 2, silence. Sit in stillness, no music, no movement, just the rhythm of your breath. Feel the mind reaching for distraction and let it go. This is your first victory. The Stoics called it self-command, the ability to stand guard at the gate of your mind. Minutes 3 to 4. Gratitude. Name 3 things you are grateful for, no matter how small. The warmth of your bed, the breath in your lungs, the chance to begin again. Gratitude rewires the mind from scarcity to sufficiency, a core principle of inner peace daily Stoic living. Minutes 5 to 6. Reflection. Ask yourself 2 questions. What is within my control today? What is not? Marcus Aurelius began his mornings this way. In that clarity lies freedom, because you no longer waste energy on what you cannot change. Minutes 7 to 8. Visualization. Imagine the day ahead. See challenges arriving and yourself meeting them calmly, rationally, wisely. This is where morning ritual stoicism becomes strength, where thought becomes resilience. Minutes 9 to 10. Affirmation. Repeat truths that align you with virtue, not vanity. I will act with patience. I will speak with reason. I will not be ruled by impulse. These words aren't fluff, they're armor. 10 minutes. That's all it takes. 10 minutes to remember who you are before the world tells you otherwise. When you start your day with a Stoic mindset, peace is no longer something you search for. It's something you practice. And in that practice, you become unshakable. The first time you truly sit in silence, it feels uncomfortable. Your fingers itch for your phone. Your mind races for distraction. You feel the pull. That restless, invisible craving to do something. This is withdrawal not from a drug, but from noise. We've built our lives on constant stimulation. The hum of screens, the rush of notifications, the endless comparison of who's achieving what. Silence feels like starvation when you've been feeding on chaos. But the Stoics understood this centuries ago. They knew that until you learn to sit with yourself, you'll never be free. That's why a morning routine for peace is so powerful. It isn't just a feel-good ritual. It's a detox for the soul. Those quiet 10 minutes pull you away from the world's current, back into your own rhythm. Every breath becomes a reminder that you are not defined by urgency. You are defined by awareness. As minute Stoic practices are like recovery sessions for the mind. They train you to let thoughts pass without attachment, to observe emotion without drowning in it, to resist the modern addiction to reaction. And that's where strength begins. Not in fighting the noise, but in learning not to need it. As an inner peace daily Stoic, you begin to understand calm isn't passive. It's power under control. It's energy that doesn't need to prove itself. When the world screams for attention, your silence becomes your rebellion. These morning rituals Stoicism teaches stillness, reflection, restraint. They build resilience brick by brick. You stop waking up to serve the day, and instead allow the day to serve your purpose. You carry yourself differently. You respond instead of react. You lead your emotions instead of following them. So when discomfort comes, and it will, don't run. Sit in it. That restlessness you feel, that's the sound of your mind healing. When you start your day with a Stoic mindset, you begin to crave peace instead of chaos. You begin to choose stillness over speed, and that's when you realize the world's noise never had power. You just stopped listening. At first, peace feels like nothing is happening. No rush, no buzz, no urgency, just calm. And because you've lived so long addicted to movement, it almost feels wrong. But stay there long enough and you'll realize that calm isn't emptiness, it's clarity. This is the quiet reward of a morning routine for peace. You begin to notice the difference between reacting and responding, between existing and living intentionally. You stop feeling like life is happening to you, and instead, you start directing it calmly, deliberately, with presence. That's what the 10-minute Stoic practices truly give you. Not just order in your mornings, but sovereignty over your mind. You no longer chase control of the outside world. You cultivate control within, and that kind of control doesn't shout. It breathes the inner peace daily. Stoic life is not about perfection. It's about returning, again and again, to the self you forget when the world gets loud. You'll still feel anger, sadness, distraction, but you'll meet them differently. You'll notice them arise and say, I see you. And then you'll let them pass. That's when power begins, true power. The kind that doesn't need validation. The kind that walks into a storm and remains still inside it. The kind that the Stoics lived by. Quiet strength born from disciplined peace. Through these morning rituals Stoicism offers, you learn something profound. The world doesn't owe you calm. You build it. You protect it. You embody it. Every morning you choose stillness. You reinforce a muscle that modern life tries to weaken, self-mastery, and soon you'll notice the shift. So here's the truth. Peace doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't arrive when the world is quiet. It arrives when